Man City plot shock move to sign Real Madrid star Rodrygo with Grealish, and 2 more outcasts giving green light to leave. Manchester City are considering a move for Real Madrid winger Rodrygo, according to reports. The Citizens are set to lose some attacking talent before the transfer deadline next month. Jack Grealish is on the verge of completing a loan move to Everton ahead of the Premier League opening weekend. Meanwhile, James McAtee is closing in on a £20 million move to Nottingham Forest following his successful U21 European Championship campaign as England captain, with 2 players expected to depart and Savinio potentially following. Manager Pep Guardiola has been exploring potential targets for his attack. Transfer guru Fabrizio Romano has claimed that Rodrygo is an option being considered. Real Madrid will let the 24-year-old leave the Santiago Bernabeu if he wants to. However, they have set an asking price of around £86.6 million. Manchester City used Real Madrid as a way to humiliate Arsenal yet again. Real Madrid fans have not seen much movement in the transfer market since the club announced Álvaro Carreras signing a few weeks ago. To be very honest, Real Madrid fans have been looking for space to open up in the first team before they even think about signing another player. And since their 25-man squad is now full, there have been hardly any movements. Even on the sales side, they're focused on selling Castilla players, but a move for a first-team player just has not arrived. Manchester City could sign a superstar player from Real Madrid this transfer window. However, that may be changing very soon. According to Fabrizio Romano, Manchester City are looking at Rodrygo as an option to reinforce their winger position this summer, in case there are a number of wingers leaving the club, which seems like a possibility. This has been the biggest domino for Real Madrid's sales this season. Rodrygo has been rumored to be leaving the club at many points during the window. And as it started looking like he could stay, Manchester City entered the room. Manchester City believe Rodrygo could be an ideal option in the attack for the player. Pep Guardiola has always been a fan of the player, and if they can convince Rodrygo to move to England and pay an important fee, Real Madrid could open up a roster spot. Real Madrid have been holding out for a big offer for the player. It has always been mentioned that the club would consider an exit only if a big offer comes in for the Brazilian. If not, they are more than happy to keep him. However, there was also an important bit to consider. The less Rodrygo plays, the less Real Madrid get for the player. So, a move for the player would have been quietly beneficial for the club too. Arsenal were previously linked with the player, but if Manchester City managed to secure his signing, someone both Arsenal fans and club officials reportedly wanted, it would certainly sting. This would also kick Manchester City back up to the cream of the crop in the Premier League. They had a down year last time around, but signing a player like Rodrygo would mean they finally have a world-class winger after a very long time. It's obviously nowhere near done. Things could always get rejected. These transfers don't always pan out. But this could be huge for Rodrygo, since he could still leave the club, despite rumors initially dying down. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Eberechi's response to Arsenal transfer links after Crystal Palace's Community Shield triumph over Liverpool. Eberechi was quizzed about speculation, linking him with a move to Arsenal after Sunday's Community Shield at Wembley. After netting in Crystal Palace's FA Cup victory in May, Ez was named in Oliver Glasner's starting sheaf for their curtain raiser on Sunday. Palace twice went behind at the home of football against Arne Slot's new-look Liverpool, but equalized on both occasions courtesy of goals from Jean-Philippe Matata and Ismail Assar. For the third season running, the Community Shield was decided on spot kicks. And despite Ez missing from 12 yards, Palace went on to win thanks to a pair of saves from Dean Henderson. Palace subsequently made their way up the 107 steps of the trophy presentation route to celebrate their success, but questions immediately turned to the future of their star man as the England international made his way down the stairs. A fan questioned him on the speculation surrounding a potential move to the Emirates. Ez briefly made eye contact with the supporter in question before appearing to crack a smile at the remark as he walked away. The apparent gesture has led to some fans on social media insisting that Ez will be making his way to North London this summer to join Mikel Arteta's side. The Gunners have already enjoyed a productive window after a third successive third-place Premier League finish, including the additions of Martin Zubimendi and £64 million striker Victor Gyökeres. ESI's £68 million release clause reportedly expired earlier this month, with Palace now able to charge whatever they choose for their prize asset. Reports suggest Arsenal value him below the £68 million fee, but that Palace chairman Steve Parish may lower his valuation as the window goes on if he fears Ez could run his deal down into the final year. However, Ez has remained a key target for the club, with reports suggesting that Arsenal's recent spending will not preclude a move for the 27th. Last term, he scored 8 goals and registered 8 assists in the Premier League as Glasner's men secured a 12th place finish. Ez's departure would be a major hit to Palace, who are also at risk of losing captain Mark Jehi, with the centre-back being linked with Liverpool. Meanwhile, last season's top goalscorer Mateta is also being monitored by a number of clubs. If Arsenal were to agree a deal for Ez in the region of £60 million, it would take their summer spending past £250 million, including Victor Gyökeres. Aritata's side have also welcomed the arrivals of Noni Madueke, Christian Mosquera, Kepa Arrizabalaga and Christian Norgard this summer. The Gunners kick off their Premier League campaign on Sunday with a visit to Old Trafford to take on Ruben Amorim's Manchester United. Arsenal close in on marquee signing after reaching financial agreement. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta plans to continue his transfer business with the manager identifying his next target. The Gunners have made some big moves this summer. They have already completed high-profile signings of Martin, Zubamendi, Noni Madueke, and Victor Gyökeres this summer. After finishing second in the Premier League for 3 seasons in a row, the North London club have acted with ambition in the transfer market. Their next aim is add a creative and attacking player in the wide position, and the player they have on their radar is Crystal Palace star Eberechi Ez to Arsenal. Fresh from his Community Shield success, Ez could be the next player to arrive at the Emirates Stadium this summer. Football transfers have reported that the financial terms have been agreed between Arsenal and Palace for the transfer of the England international. The Gunners are set to pay a total of €63.5 million, £55 million for the English star, with €34.5 million, £30 million to be paid up front. The remaining sum will be covered through additional installments, the structure of which is still being discussed. The main stumbling block to finalizing the transfer lies not in finances, but in Crystal Palace's readiness to sanction the sale. Palace are determined to line up a suitable replacement before allowing one of their most influential players to depart. Complicating matters further is the club's current leadership situation. Palace have yet to appoint a replacement for departing sporting director Dougie Freedman, a figure who played a key role in transfer negotiations and recruitment strategy. Crystal Palace are holding up the deal, without someone in that position to oversee the final stages of the deal and secure Ez's successor. The club has been reluctant to give the final green light. For Arsenal, securing Ez would be a significant statement of intent. Arteta is an admirer of the creative midfielder who scored 14 goals and provided 11 assists last season for the Eagles. While the move is not yet over the line, all indications suggest that once Palace resolve their internal and recruitment matters, Ez could soon be making the switch to the Emirates Stadium. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Why top clubs snubbed Asamoah Elise? FIFA Technical Committee member and Nigerian football legend Sunday Elise has explained why several top European clubs appeared reluctant to pursue Super Eagles striker Victor Asamoah, citing the staggering total financial package required to secure his services. The former Nigeria captain broke down the true cost of acquiring Asamoah at approximately €187 million over 4 years. In a video circulated on social media, Elisa provided a detailed analysis of the complex transfer saga that eventually saw Asamoah join Turkish champions Galatasaray for a record-breaking fee. Let's get one thing very clear. For the fans, football is passion, love, but for all the actors involved in football, it is business, Elisa said, emphasizing the commercial realities of modern football transfers. The former Ajax midfielder explained that whilst many focused on Napoli's reported €75 million asking price, the actual cost to acquire and maintain Asamoah was considerably higher due to additional financial commitments. Elisa broke down the total package as follows: the €75 million transfer fee, a contractual clause granting Napoli 10% of any future resale, and Asamoah's substantial salary demands of €15 million net per year. The real price for acquiring and maintaining Asamoah is actually €187 million, Elisa stated, highlighting how the striker's wages alone would cost approximately €112 million over a 4-year contract period. The second part, the wages of Asamoah, it's at €15 million net. That's €28 million a year. If you multiply it by 4, you are coming to €112 million. This has been the major problem for clubs trying to acquire Asamoah, he added. The analysis helps explain why Premier League giants Manchester United, and Chelsea, despite reported interest, ultimately failed to meet Napoli's overall valuation for the 26-year-old striker. Osimhen's protracted transfer saga dominated much of the summer window, with the Nigerian international's relationship with Napoli becoming increasingly strained as negotiations dragged on. The striker was notably absent from Galatasaray's opening Turkish Super League fixture against Gaziantep, which the Istanbul Giants won 3-0 without their marquee signing. Despite missing the match, Osimhen showed his commitment to his new club by posting a video of himself watching the game on television, captioning it, "Big mood. We keep going." As teammate Unel Moli celebrated the second goal, the Super Eagles star had not participated in preseason training due to the uncertainty surrounding his future, but is expected to be available for Galatasaray's next fixture against Fatih Karagümrük at Rams Park. Galatasaray's acquisition of Osimhen represents the most expensive signing in Turkish football history, with the club reportedly paying the full €75 million transfer fee up front, alongside his annual €15 million net salary. The striker's move to Turkey, while surprising to many, ultimately provided him with the platform to continue his career at the highest level while securing significant financial rewards. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Liverpool hit £145 million mark with 6 exits, and 2 more could help fund Alexander Isak deal. Liverpool have been one of the Premier League's most active clubs in the transfer market this summer and still hope to complete a record-breaking swoop for Alexander Isak. Liverpool have splashed some serious cash in the transfer window, but they've also recouped a big chunk of their summer spend through player sales after sanctioning Tyler Morton's move to Lyon. The Premier League champions have significantly strengthened the squad that made Arne Slot's maiden season at the helm one to remember by capturing Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, and Hugo Ekitike this summer. Those deals have added up though, with Wirtz alone arriving for a package worth a British record £116 million. Further signings are expected before the transfer window shuts next month, too, with outgoings helping to fund them. The Echo outlines that Morton's move to Lyon has netted Liverpool a cool £15 million, including add-ons. The Reds also retain a 20% sell-on fee and will stand to profit. If the young midfield thrives in France and moves again, Morton follows Trent Alexander, Arnold, Kawim Hin, Kelleher, Nat Phillips, Yarel Kwanzaa, and Luis Diaz in being sold this summer, with those deals raising a huge £145 million. But again, more are forthcoming. Darwin Núñez has agreed terms on a switch to Al Hilal, which will see the Saudi Pro League side part with £46 million, though add-ons will see that figure rise substantially, and Federico Chiesa will follow Núñez out the door after hardly featuring at all under Slot following his bargain move from Juventus last summer. All of those outgoings could help Liverpool land their top transfer target before the 1st of September. Alexander Isak. The Newcastle star is keen on the idea of moving to Anfield this summer, but his club have no appetite to sell their top striker. Relations between the club and Isak, 25, have soured, though, after he went to Spain to train alone last week, the Sweden international was instructed to train alone on Wednesday, and was not invited to a player-family bonding event earlier in the day. Newcastle will not consider a sale unless they can bring in quality reinforcements, but they look set to miss out on a deal for Benjamin Sesko, with the Slovenian favoring a move to Manchester United. The Magpies have also missed out on other attacking targets during what has been a difficult summer transfer window, including Ekitike, Liam Delap, and Bryant Boom. Liverpool have already confirmed response to Newcastle's Alexander Isak transfer statement. Liverpool continue to be linked with a blockbuster transfer for Alexander Isak, but Newcastle remain adamant that they will not sell their star striker this summer. Alexander Isak's hopes of joining Liverpool this summer appear to be fading fast, with the Premier League champions unwilling to pursue any players they deem to be unattainable. The Reds have already seen a 9-figure offer for Isak rejected this summer, and with Newcastle adamant they will not sell the 25-year-old striker, Isak looks likely to be a Magpies player when the transfer window shuts on the 1st of September. It emerged on Saturday morning that the Sweden international has reacted furiously after being informed he will not be sold this summer, and while the report adds that Isak will not feature for Newcastle until he accepts the board will not sell him in this transfer window. Liverpool's recruitment policy means a breakthrough is unlikely. It was outlined prior to the weekend by the I-Paper that the champions' requirements for any transfer target include them being realistically attainable and that any deal would represent fair market value. As things stand, Neither of those requirements would be met with Isak, given Newcastle value their star striker in excess of £150 million and do not want to sell. Liverpool are expected to target a new number 9 after agreeing a deal to sell Darwin Núñez to Al Hilal. They have already signed Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt this summer, though the Frenchman is also capable of playing in a wide attacking role. Ekitike was a target for Newcastle before the Reds swooped in, and they continued to pursue forwards themselves. Brentford's Yoane Wissa is one such target. Isak did not feature in Newcastle's latest preseason fixtures and has now been instructed to train alone after failing to join his teammates on their recent tours of Asia. Speaking after the 2-2 draw with Espanyol on Friday night at St. James Park, Eddie Howe said of the situation, "We've had discussions and it's clear at the moment that we can't involve him with the group. I don't know how long that will be for, but that's the latest. I'd want Alex to be playing today. I'd want him training tomorrow. We would love the player to be with us. Let me make that absolutely clear. There's no part of me that doesn't want that outcome, but I don't see the current situation changing for Aston Villa Newcastle's season opener." Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Arsenal give an overwhelming green light over next transfer. Icing on the cake. Arsenal have already spent heavily this summer, with a number of new faces having already arrived at the Emirates, and another major deal has been given. The thumbs up by a Gunners legend. Ray Parlour has backed Arsenal to sign Ibarrechias as their final summer addition. The Gunners have already spent heavily this summer, with 6 new faces having arrived at the Emirates Stadium. Noni Madwek, Victor Gyökeres, and Martin Zubamendi are among the headline arrivals, while Christian Norgard, Christian Mosquera, and Kepa Arrizabalaga have all signed for the club. But Mikel Arteta's side might not be done there. Arsenal also want to add a new winger before next month's deadline. Crystal Palace star S has been identified as a potential signing, while Real Madrid's Rodrygo is also an option. Gunners icon Parlour has given his verdict on Arsenal's windows so far and believes that S could be the final addition of the summer. Speaking on Talk Sport, he said, "I think there might be one more signing. I don't know how much money they've got left or whether the rules as well they've got to look at. But if there is enough money, Ez would be a great signing," he added. "He'd be playing off the left there, maybe, but you've got to have options. You've got to have lots of players who can just come in and come out of the team. And we all know that you've got to have depth. A lot of depth if you're playing Champions League football. The FA Cup, so many games. That's why Norgard would be good for Arsenal, because he can come in certain games. He's got the experience. And he knows he's going to be second fiddle, but he can still play a big part for Arsenal in certain areas. So I think Ez would be the icing on the cake. Would Ibarrechias be a good signing for Arsenal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Arsenal need to get a move on if they want to complete a relatively affordable move for ES. The England winger has a £68 million release clause written into his contract with Crystal Palace, but that only remains active for another week. His contract with Palace is due to run until 2027. Should the Gunners not make their move before then, they could potentially be forced to pay more for Ez. Rodrygo has emerged as another option for Arteta, but it is suggested that Arsenal would only be willing to make a move for him on loan. Arsenal start their Premier League season against Manchester United at Old Trafford in just a week's time. Before that, they take on Spanish side Athletic Bilbao at the Emirates Stadium in their final preseason game. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.